the most popular daily vlogger is Casey Neistat by far. He's probably the most famous. He's probably one of the best people who can tell a story, and he does it in a way that's so interesting. I just literally stole his fucking format.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.
It's pretty awesome. I'm gonna send you. I want to send you the daily vlogs. I want your honest opinion about them.
Okay, we're doing on the show honest opinion on vlogs. All right.
Well, I mean, I don't know. What do you think about a daily vlog? I just hit record on this new video podcast. So Nate and I have been doing a podcast for how long, Nate? Like 2.5 years now?
Yeah, 2 years, yeah, somewhere around there. Since 2022.
Yeah, so when we first started out, like we started video, but I had no clue about video. Like I had done video podcasts for 100+ episodes on my golf podcast, but they were so horrible. I was so like they looked disgusting. Like I tried to set it up like a real podcaster studio, and it just was horrible. And it continued to be horrible. And then I like found, I don't know, but it wasn't even a bit. I have the same camera. I use the same exact camera. Now we just use better software, and we're doing the first video podcast in probably 1.5 years now. It feels weird to talk to you and see you at the same time.
It does, because we've been so just on the phone, which the cool thing, it allows us to do it even, we're still doing it kind of anywhere. You're in San Diego, I'm up here in Sacramento area, and we're still able to do it. But yeah, video allowed me to do it. Last episode I was on my walk, and we're doing the freaking podcast just audio. So audio gives us even that more freedom to do it anywhere. Video still can do it pretty much anywhere, but it's different, but it's good. I mean, video we're able to put it now back on YouTube, back on Instagram, TikTok, wherever these video social media platforms. And I think it's going to benefit us to get back to it. But on that too, I mean, just kind of, that's our whole thing of what we talk about, right? Like you're talking about, man, I did 100 episodes before we even started this podcast, learning how to do video on, podcasting. We started it, I'm sure it's a little bit better, and we're still here now, even that next step of getting better and better at our podcasting. And even that, we do a podcast episode pretty close to once a week. We've maybe only skipped a few weeks in the last 2.5 years. But even with that, we have so much more to learn, so much better we can be, because there's people doing them twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, right? And they're up to hundreds of episodes. We're just closing on episode 100.
Well, it's definitely different. The one thing I will notice with the video, I can tell when you're done talking, because you and I sometimes we like, I don't know if it's a delay or I'm just eager with whatever the hell I want to talk about, and I want to jump in real fast, and sometimes we cut each other off, which sucks, which really sucks. I think the video will so the reason why I was like, Nate, we got to get back to videos, because so I have another podcast with my wife with our YouTube channel, The Adventures 3. And it's kind of like a live update of our lives and stuff. And I realized that the video podcast got, like, we had like 3 episodes, and like the first couple of episodes got hundreds of views. And then the third episode got thousands of views. And the organic reach is just crazy good compared to like just uploading it just audio only onto a podcast player, because that's so it's so hard to actually subscribe and watch or listen to a new podcast. It's not search friendly.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And well, I mean, right. YouTube or some of these, the social media, I mean, they are going to push certain types of media. So I think it's beneficial. And even that, right, there's just different, sometimes shorts are getting pushed, sometimes long form video, is getting pushed. So I think it's just for us too, to grow the podcast, it's just going to add another element of ways for people to find us, having that long form video back on YouTube.
Well, and I looked at some of the other successful podcasts, and some of them are really long. They're like the hour, hour and a half, 2 hour podcast, I don't necessarily listen or watch the entire podcast, but what I do is I listen to like the short clips, like the 6 minute, little episodes. And I think that's a cool way to be able to get more content out there, because if just you and I live streaming like this, we're able to take the entire episode, put it on our original podcast player, and then we're able to like we can actually cut it up into either shorter clips, or we can cut it into those like 6 minute sections and be able to have, instead of just one piece of content, all of a sudden we've got 30 pieces of content out of just one recording, which I think is key. I mean, it's like what Gary Vee talks about all the time, is being able to take one piece of content and spreading it out, and it really reduces the amount of work, but it also increases the amount of possible attention that we might get.
Oh, definitely. And this whole long video, it obviously takes a little bit of work to go in and find those shorter clips. Okay, this is a good piece, this is a good piece. But it is one of those things when you're just doing it, not trying to make content, we're being the content, then we create so much more content from that. We're not here, so okay, let's record 5 minutes of this talk. Okay, let's stop it. You know what I mean? Where some people really try and keep doing that perfect shot instead of just, hey, we're just going to record it, do it, and then we'll get the content from that. I think is a key, difference of just really having that good, just natural stuff that people like looking at, right? Because we talk about this all the time, whether it's production videos or just that vlog style or whatever, just setting the camera up and talking or doing whatever it is you're doing. Those videos tend to get a lot of interest, or a lot of likes, a lot of views, just because people like to see, natural, not necessarily full production.
And that's where I struggle, Nate. When I have you and I having a conversation with each other, it's super fun. It's really good. I tried to do the daily vlog where I sit down in front of the camera and talk to it and just be the content. Editing that stuff is the worst thing in the world. It is nails on a chalkboard. I hate it. I hate editing it. I hate the way it looks. I hate the way it sounds. If I could shove that out to a formal editor that could actually upload it for me, I would do it all the time. But if I have to look at myself for an hour after I just talked, oh my God, it's the worst. It's the worst. I quit every time. I started one 3 days ago. I go, I'm going to do a daily insight again. So I pull out my TikTok app. I hit the fucking record button, 10-minute section. It takes 30 minutes to upload the goddamn thing. And I watched it and I'm like, this is awful. Who would ever watch any of this crap? And then I realized, it got 400 views, and I'm like, oh shit, maybe this is the right path. But I started doing a Casey Neistat style vlog, a daily vlog, which by the way, if anyone wants to start a daily vlog, I highly encourage them to do it, because you're going to learn a lot about yourself, and you're going to realize that you've got to be a crazy interesting person to keep it compelling. Yesterday I went on a run, and I'm like, how the fuck do I make a run interesting? You know what I mean? So I'm filming different angles. I ran by a golf course, was yelling at golfers. I ran by a couple of horses, and that scared the crap out of me. Of course, I had my stupid camera on picture mode, so I took a bunch of pictures of a horse's ass instead of a video. But it's I don't know. It's been an interesting experiment.
Yeah, I mean, that is just having fun with it too. I think we sometimes get so caught up in trying to have the perfect stuff, or with whatever you're doing, sometimes you do just have to have a little fun with it, because there is something in there that you can, once again, maybe cut it up, and then one of those, and it's a good thing to test, right? You have the horses thing, you have the golfers thing, a couple different little pieces of content throughout that run, and one of them might explode, and then you're like, okay, how can I replicate doing something similar to that, right? Whether it's yelling at golfers, right? Okay, that's a daily thing. Every time I walk by a golf course, I'm gonna have a bunch of videos of just me doing random stuff, yelling at golfers, and maybe that's what blows up. Of course, the golfers are gonna hate it, and being golf enthusiasts, we would probably get super annoyed about some random guy doing that. But it's funny, and people can blow that stuff up.
Well, I think attention is the new, like, I'm stealing this from Gary Vee, but attention is the new currency. A year ago, I read this book called Content Inc. And I don't know if I've talked about it here on this podcast before, but it talked about just building an audience on a platform and then starting the business. And because the last like week or so, my wife, I have this niche. I really love starting businesses. I love grabbing an idea, creating the name and the landing page and trying to get attention and trying to get customers. Like that for me is just like rocket fuel. And I come up with all kinds of crazy ideas. Yesterday's idea was literally in the movie Happy Gilmore. You know how he's the caddy, the homeless guy he's like cleaning his underwear in the ball cleaner.
Yeah.
I was like, why is there not a golf towel that looks like a pair of, tighty whiteys? Like, why is that not a thing? Like, I've never seen, and that's disgusting, but I was like, all right, what's the name for the tighty whitey, golf towel company that looks like and sure enough, I'm like, it's called Skidmark Golf. Like, as soon as you clean your golf ball in that underwear, it's going to be a little brown. You know what I mean? It's going to be a skid mark. And I don't know. I've been kind of bouncing back and forth between like, do I start a business or do I build an audience and then launch a business? And it's one of those things that I think if you have the attention of an audience, launching a business is so much easier.
Yeah. And it's actually the book I'm, reading right now. It's kind of similar talking about that in a way. And this is an older book too. And it's just talking about, it's a sales book. When you have those relationships you build, right? So, you have these, you have customers, you sell them, you build such a good relationship with them. No matter where you are, they're going to follow you, right? This particular person does car sales. They were just talking about whether you're at this dealership and then you go to that dealership, if you build these really great relationships, the next time these people are going to buy a car, they're going to go to you no matter what dealership you're at, right? And that's almost the same thing, right? You build that audience. No matter what you launch, if you have that following, you have that audience, they're going to buy from you. So like I said, this is a book that was written probably 20, 30 years ago, but it still applies today just on this new platform of building those relationships, having those people that trust you. That, that's essentially what social media, you're doing. You're building that trust, you're building the brand, you're building your tribe. And no matter what it is that you decide to finally launch or do, those people are going to buy from you. So it is, I mean, that's a good way about going about it. And that's what, most sales and businesses are built on, are that audience, the relationships.
Because it just, I don't know. It drives me crazy that that's the way I have to build a business, because it's hard. It's difficult to build an audience, right? It's really difficult. Like doing these daily vlogs takes me, it takes like 2 or 3 hours to edit just 5 to 8 minutes worth of video and trying to make it compelling and have the right story. And then you got to live your life in an interesting way. It's definitely challenging. And I give Gary Vee as much credit to any, like that dude he's nuts. He's absolutely nuts. And I know he, like in the beginning stages of his career, he would just literally edit with the start and stop button. And I think that's awesome. I just, for whatever reason, I have to add that like creative touch to it. I don't know if it's just like the way I'm built or the way I was introduced to like video creation, but I give him a lot of credit because he's definitely, I listened to one of his talks and he goes, if you fuckers would have listened to me 4 years ago and started posting shorts on TikTok, you wouldn't even be sitting here. You might be on this stage talking right now, telling everyone how to build their audience, but instead you're sitting here and you didn't take action. And I think that's one of the key things is you just got to put it out there and not give a shit. And the reason why I'm telling you to not give a shit is because, dude, I've got some real hate with these daily vlogs. Like I made a thumbnail that had like a cliff sign in the thumbnail. I was out like near Torrey Pines in San Diego, and there's these giant cliffs, and there's signs everywhere like, "Hey, dipshit, don't cross this line because you'll die from a 100-foot drop." And I put like the little like the logo of the sign that says "Danger, stay back, you're gonna die," and then I put underneath it like, "Are you willing?" Like I said some catchy title of like, are you willing to let people like dictate how you take risk? And I got so much fucking hate of like, apparently 2 kids died from this cliff. Like, they're like, you're an idiot. You need to keep you and your family safe. And I'm like, that wasn't even the purpose of the video. Like, what are we doing here? So I don't know. I'm kind of rambling here, Nate. This is weird. I'm not gonna lie. This video thing is weird. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
shaking. I got my hands going. Normally on the audio, no one sees any of that crap.
but that's the great thing about it, right? Because we all do that stuff. I'm sitting here doing the same thing. I'm trying to sit as still as possible, relatively, because I know I start looking around. I'm like, you start paying attention to more stuff. Your your thinking, your obviously your hand movements. So it is different. It does help you though build discipline, because you're like, okay, cool. Now I'm on video. Not that you need to be perfect, but it does. Yeah, you start paying attention to what you're doing, because yeah, when we're on audio, sometimes I'm laying down, sometimes I'm walking around, sometimes I'm just sitting. Like it all varies, right? Whatever's going on. So okay, now I'm stuck to this chair. We're looking at each other. We're gonna talk and do this. But just going back to, I'm big on the Gary Vee method. The stop start is my editing right now, and just posting. And the different podcasts I listen to, and they talk about it. Gary Vee's a big one about how many pieces you got to post a day. And so many people, I think I'm posting a lot, right? I post a couple times a day in my stories. Some days I got 8, 10, 15 posts. But really on the actual post, I maybe do 2 or 3. And that's sometimes over, TikTok, YouTube, like one on each platform. And, so, okay, maybe I'm doing 40 a week, and where Gary Vee or some of the people talk about, like, yeah, you got to do like 10 a day. So you should be doing, 100 or 70, close to 100, 70 to 100 a week. And you just always realize how, you think man, why is my audience not growing? It's like, man, you're doing like a quarter percentage of what they talk about that you should be doing to build it. And even then, in the beginning, it takes forever, right? And it is, because especially right now, all these platforms have gotten more and more flooded. There's still a lot of people not doing things, but there are just so many more videos, right? You have to just cut through the noise. You have to keep posting for your stuff to get on there, for people to see your post, more than once a day, pop up, because someone maybe only looks at it at 9 a.m. Well, if you didn't post right before then, they're not going to see your post, right? If you posted late, and then maybe they don't get on till 8 p.m., right? There's so many things going on. So you do have to kind of post throughout the day, whether it's stories or whether it's just actual, posting to your page to keep, have people see it, or you just kind of forget. I mean, I kind of will do that. I'm like, man, I haven't seen this person's, because the way the algorithms work and whatever, like people that you actually follow though. And I realize, like, I haven't seen this person's content in a while, whether it's like Gary Vee. I went for like a month, not real, like, is Gary Vee even posting? Like, I hadn't seen, for whatever reason, his content wasn't posting up on my feed. I, search him. Yeah, he's still posting, but I don't know, like the algorithm was changing to the different people that, whether it was Alex Hormozy or the different influencers that I follow. It's just weird how it works to all of a sudden, like someone that is literally posting multiple times a day, I'm not even seeing their content on my feed.
Well, the algorithm is you. Like, it's what like it's your subconscious. It's so crazy. I hate the algorithm. And the reason why I hate the algorithm is because all of a sudden I'm watching like cop videos, and like I'm like reacting to what the cops are doing, and my wife's like, "What the fuck are you watching?" And I'm like, they just keep popping up. And then I watch some expert. He's like, the algorithm is you. Whatever you're into, like, the computer's going to know what you want to be served up next. And it's creepy, dude. It's scary. And you're right about the whole, like the amount of content you need to push out there. I was watching a Gary Vee talk, and he goes 45 pieces of content a day. And I was like, oh my God, how the hell am I supposed to do 45 a day? And he goes, listen, take 15 pieces of content and spread them over three platforms. There's your 45. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's not bad. He goes, all right, now take 5 platforms, make 10 pieces of content, spread them out across 5 platforms. And I'm like, so that's what he's talking about. It kind of clicked. And you're right about the old, the content thing. My wife runs our Instagram and Facebook, and she was posting in like chronological order. And I go, what are you doing? She goes, well, I posted that yesterday. I go, yeah, but like 75% of the audience hasn't even seen it yet. The algorithm's only going to show a portion of that content. You can repurpose content from 3 years ago. It doesn't matter. Like the people that saw it 3 years ago probably aren't going to remember it now. And it doesn't really matter. So you can repurpose a lot of different things. As I've noticed that my external hard drives, dude, I'm having to buy, the more content you produce, more external hard drives you need. Which is frustrating.
Well, the good old iPhone, since we can't upgrade our storage, I have to just buy a new phone every couple years, not necessarily because I need a new phone or anything's wrong with it. It's just I need more storage. And I wanted to get a terabyte. I only got 512 on my new phone, but I know I probably in a year and a half I'm going to need more. I don't offload enough of my stuff to the cloud or to a hard drive, which I probably need to start doing just to record and store more and more videos. And even that, yeah, the repurposing, because there are so little people that will see it. And I'll even see it too with big influencers. Like I will see something and then maybe a week later, I'll see that they reposted it or something very similar. Maybe they changed something on it, but maybe it's the same picture or similar video. So it is, I mean, yeah, you can reuse stuff or even stuff years ago, right? Like something you posted 3 years ago. Well, you didn't have the same audience. I don't know, 3 years ago, I probably only had 200 followers. So the majority of the people that follow me now, no one scrolls back to look at your old post. I can literally repost it and get way more engagement on it than something that got 10 views and 2 likes. So it is something that we can do because it's there, but whoever it's Instagram's not grabbing it. I think YouTube is probably the only thing that your older content actually will get used, especially on long form videos, right? If you're doing some sort of educational stuff on long form content on YouTube, people will actually go and search out your older videos because it could be beneficial, whatever you're talking about at that time. So I think YouTube is good for that stuff, but yeah, I think Instagram, TikTok, no one's really going to look at your older stuff. So yeah, reuse it.
Well, I noticed like on some of these platforms, the stuff that I was consuming, I would try and like find that video again, like in people that I was consuming their content, and you can't find it. I have no idea. Like there was this one clip from, I can't remember who, the business person was, but it was like a second or third different account that had taken a piece of content of that content creator and put it on their own channel. So now I don't know where the damn fucking content is. And it drove me crazy. YouTube does a really good job of it being searchable, which I really like. Like it, on Instagram, it's not searchable. If I'm looking for something, to learn about or to research, it's very difficult. And TikTok's the same way. Facebook's, I'm guessing, the same way. YouTube is really good for that, like searchable content. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I like YouTube so much.
Yeah, and even YouTube will tell you what people are searching for, which is cool. Like, I don't know how I stumbled upon it, but it was just like, hey, these are the top 5 or 10, because I post a lot of fitness stuff, like searched fitness things. So it's like, okay, cool. I should make my content, some content around what people are searching for on YouTube, whether it's bicep workouts, whether it's eating, like it named it. So it's like it's actually helping you to, hey, you should probably make some content about this. Make sure it's in your description, in your title, because this is what people are searching on YouTube.
Well, another feature, if you go into your like analytics, it will actually show you, it'll show you what other accounts the people that follow you actually watch. And then it'll also make suggestions about the content that they're actually searching for. So you can actually produce content that your audience is actually looking for, which is, I think, is pretty freaking cool. Like it's a pretty cool cheat code. Like if you look at some of maybe even your competitors, hey, they did a video on the top, for us, it'd be like the top 6 mistakes when we bought our RV. You can literally you can repurpose what other people are searching for, which I think is, I don't know, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think too, some people overthink it too, right? Of like what to post. And Gary Vee talks about it all the time. I was listening to his recent, he was just talking about that, like that there are these people that literally, whether it's directly stealing the stuff and using it as their own, or just, he says it, copy what he's doing, right? Do what I'm doing. That's what's going to work. And it is, it's simple as that. Obviously do it in your own way. You don't want to be literally a copycat of someone, but he talks about all the time, like, do what he's doing, and it works. And which is true. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just look what some of these big people are posting about, what they're doing, how they're doing it, and it'll work.
Well, so for me, like, I always thought that you had to come up with your original idea. You couldn't steal it from anyone else. And then I read this book called Steal Like an Artist, and it gave so many examples of different, like, historical people who were actual artists, the people who like painted and shit. And they would be like, all right, so if you look at this piece of, this painting, like 4 of the things that are in this painting were stolen, but they just took those 4 different like concepts and repurposed them and made it their own. And I think when you're getting started in the content creation, for me specifically with the daily vlogs, the most popular daily vlogger is Casey Neistat by far. He's probably the most famous. He's probably one of the best people who can tell a story, and he does it in a way that's so interesting. I just literally stole his fucking format. And slowly over time, I'm going to create my own format, but I'm stealing bits and pieces from these different vloggers and these different ideas to form my own kind of path, form my own style, to say the least. And I think that's one of the things that we're really scared to do. And I'm not saying do the exact video. Don't go out and make the exact same Casey Neistat video, because it's not going to be authentic. But you can definitely steal different types of their art, which I think is, like you said, like Gary V says, that shit, it works. Like, that style works. So use it. Just put your own spin on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can use their same format, their same or I don't know what you want to call it. They're basically how it's lined up, but you can be talking about a different piece of content, right? Like, whether it's fitness, whether it's RVing, whether it's camping, whether it's traveling, like, you can do the same stuff, but talking about your topic that you want to talk about, because it is, I mean, it's a story. No matter what it is, especially with the vlogs, right? You're essentially just telling some sort of story, and hopefully it resonates with your audience and they can find value from it. So it's just being able to tell the story, as well as any of these other people that do it, because it does take practice, and just like what we're doing here, and this, I know, going back to us being on video again, it does make you a better speaker, right? Because we're on camera and we're speaking, and we can learn to do it, which a lot of the big people that talk about bettering yourself just with sales or talking with people is putting it on camera. Like, how do you look on camera? How do you sound on camera? Once you record it and then look at it, you're like, man, look at all these things I'm doing. I look like a freaking idiot. So it does make you better, which a lot of people won't do. And I'm glad that we're back to this, because now I can look at the things I'm doing and see how much better I can make myself with talking, with the things I'm doing with my hands and whatnot. So it's beneficial. Record yourself. Maybe you don't have to post it, but record it, watch what you're doing. Then you can just learn to be better at speaking.
Well, plus everyone's going to wonder, like, where do I get one of those Baywatch tank tops, mate? That's what everyone wants to know. Okay. It's pretty crazy. Did you go to Baywatch? I mean, are you a volunteer lifeguard in the summer? What, we need a little backstory on where you got that tank top.
I was at Target just shopping, walking by, and they had their tank tops on sale. I think it was the end of last summer, and I love tank tops, and I was just like, that's a cool one. Let me get that. Just because I go through my this, I usually wear it to work out is what it's for. But no, that's all the backstory. Nothing crazy. Just saw it and sitting there, and happened to be my size, and it was like, hey, they're on sale. Let's just pick one up.
So who's your favorite Baywatch character?
Oh man, I don't even know. Well, which one? Like, I think, if we're gonna go with the new one, it has to be The Rock, right? Who's not gonna like The Rock? The original one, I don't even know if I ever watched it. I mean, of course, I take that. We all wanted to watch it for like Pamela Anderson,
That was my
when we were
favorite
younger.
character. That was my introduction to like, I'm like, what are those things on her chest? My dad's like, that's why we watched one, buddy. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I want to go to the beach. Is she at the beach? You know, and anyways, it yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just on that, just because I knew we were doing video again too, and I'm at the gym, getting my pump on, and I'm like, really, if we want to blow it, I was like, man, maybe I should start doing it like shirtless, do a shirtless video of our podcast. Like, it's just, I don't know. I just started thinking of crazy things of like, we're gonna get clickbait for that,
Dude, it works. It one of my very first Instagram lives. This is probably 4 years ago, and we went on a golf trip. And one of the things that we want to do is we want to do these Instagram lives. Everyone was doing lives, so we did one. And sure enough, it was next to a fireplace. We had wine, and we were all in bathrobes. And by the time of the end of the podcast, we were so drunk that the bathrobes had come off. And it was the creepiest, weirdest one. We got thousands of views. And I was like, what the hell? And everyone was like, when are you going to do the shirtless live again? And I was like, I didn't think anyone would watch that. But, 3 dad bods are, I guess, attractive to someone.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those things like, whoa, what's going on? And no matter what. Yes, that is going to get the attention, but of course, what they'll talk about is like, that is that what we want our views from? No, we want our views from our content, right? And it's hard to just stick the course, keep talking about what you want to talk about, because that's what they really talk about. A lot of the female content producers struggle with, right? Because of course, whether it's gym stuff, they're usually exposed a little bit more, and that's why they're getting the views, right? That's why they're getting the likes. But a lot of they talk about, well, but that's not really what. When I post things that I actually want to talk about, maybe it's nutrition, it doesn't get the same amount of views. So it's just one of those things. Of course, yes, the likes, the clicks, the comments, whatever, all that stuff goes up, but you're getting off course of what you're actually, your content is.
Well, that's where you have to provide value, but at the same time, you got to get people to click. And as I'm on this like daily vlog, so we do with our RV channel, which is a kind of a vlog, but it's a longer form and it's more curated. And then on my daily vlog it's pretty raw. But that's the thing though, if you can make the thumbnail, the title very clickable, and that's what these female influencers do. But the problem is, it's like, what value can they bring? You might have millions of followers, but your value is, all you can sell is your underwear. Like, that's not, you can only wear so many pairs of underwear. Now, if you're providing value, but you get, people to click, even with a smaller audience, I think you can make, that value. What is it called? The customer value, or, value
Lifetime
per
value
subscriber.
Of the customer.
Yeah. What did you say that again?
Lifetime value of the customer.
Yeah. So, I mean, you kind of want to look at those analytics and make sure that you're not chasing the wrong audience.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's any of it goes, that way. And my thing always too is like trying to like duplicate, some of these videos that have gotten more views. And it's like, okay, well, what did I do? Because for me, a lot of it's the same. Like, I wear pretty much the same type of gym clothes. I work out, on the same type of equipment or something. It's like, okay, this one video got 6,000 views. This one only got 4. Very similar video, but why? I probably got to look at the time of day. What time of day did I post? Some other stuff, but it is just one of those things that it's, what value are you bringing, and are people resonating with it?
Or you just get lucky, because dude, some of these videos that I've posted, specifically our most recent Adventures 3 podcast, or I think it was the third one. Anyways, not the most recent one. Dude, the camera the entire time was out of focus. The entire time. I don't know what I did. I thought I focused it before we hit record. I hit record. I upload it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst video in the world. But it's our most popular podcast. I don't know why. And I'm guessing it has something to do with the title and the thumbnail, but the retention's crazy, and people don't give a shit about the shitty video. The audio was great, which was cool, but sometimes these things just don't make any sense. some things, things that you think are going to go viral, or things that you pour your heart into, and you're like, this is going to get, 1 million views. And then all of a sudden it gets 5 views and you're like, what the hell? And then you post something like, I posted a video with like this guy pushing a shopping cart and the wheels locking up because we're in California and apparently they're trying to prevent shopping cart thefts. Gets thousands of views. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this took me 30 seconds to make, where the other video that I thought was going to get 1 million views took me like 10 hours to make. And it just doesn't make any sense. So, and what I've come to a conclusion is you just gotta create, and you gotta post, and you just gotta hope for the best.
Well, and I think that one in particular, right? Like, most people have experienced that, right? Like, who has not been in a shopping cart? They're parking far away because you don't want anyone parking next to you. And no matter what, just to put it out there, why do people find it necessary to park next to you when you clearly park 10 spaces away from anyone around you? And they say, hey, let me just go park to that next car, even though there's a bunch of other empty spaces. So that guy was probably just trying to park far away. And yes, these shopping carts have that, whatever it is, as soon as it gets too far away, it locks up. But we've all experienced it. I've experienced it. I'm like, what the hell? I'm still in your parking lot. Or especially because, these shopping centers, they all kind of coincide. So maybe you park closer to another store, and you're taking the cart from the store next door. And yeah, it just doesn't go, you go too far away from it. But yeah, I think that's just one of those things we've all experienced, or the majority of people have experienced something similar with those damn carts, and how that works with which ones take off. And I think, yeah, if people can resonate with it, they're gonna like it.
You know what's not in the rest of the world?
What?
Locking shopping carts. Okay, that was California's the only place that I've ever seen with locking shopping carts. I was like, what the hell's wrong with your cart? Like, and they go, well, it locks after like 8 feet from the store door. And I'm like, it's the dumbest shit in the world. Like, in Georgia, you just have a shopping cart. You could drive around the world if you wanted to. There's no locking mechanism, which I get, trying to prevent theft and all that stuff. But God, they gotta improve the technology on how far those carts go.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, once again, here in California, we have the most homeless, and what do they all have as a shopping cart with all their stuff in it? So I don't know. I don't even know what a shopping cart runs to replace, but you figure you got tens of thousands of homeless people with those shopping carts, walking around with them. So they're just trying to save some money on having to replace the shopping carts every month or however it is. Because it does. I mean, you go to some stores, they are buying a whole new set of shopping carts, every so often, because they are just they lose them, and and that was a business. I don't know if it's still a business today, but that there used to be a whole business that people would do that, right? They collect the shopping carts and bring them back to the store and charge the stores to get the shopping carts back. And I don't know if it's such a thing anymore. I haven't really seen too many trucks driving around with them, but that used to be a thing, right? You get $10 or what, I don't even know what they would charge, but probably with the price of gases, it's not worth it anymore to bring the shopping carts back to them, and they'd pay.
Nate, what were they doing with the homeless guys' stuff? Just
No,
pulling up middle of the night, fucking dumping all their shit out there in the road, and stealing the shopping cart back?
A lot of it too is because, right, like some people, it's not even that. People would just take them to maybe that lived relatively close to the shopping center, and they walk there. They would you'll see it, like you'll just walk and there's just an empty shopping cart in a neighborhood. And it's not necessarily a homeless person. The person that lives close to the grocery store, they just walk it there to take their groceries home, and then they just put it back on the sidewalk. So you'll still just see random shopping carts around that necessarily aren't used by homeless people. But because of that, sometimes, yeah, or homeless people just abandon them, or whatever the different reasons are. But yeah, you'll see them just chilling there. It's on the side of the road.
It's just, these are all things that is new to me in California. These are all things that I just don't see in the rest of the world. I'm surprised California hasn't just started providing, like, if you sign up to be homeless, you're like, all right, I'm homeless, and they just issue a shopping cart. Like, why is there not a company that's creating shopping carts specifically for homeless, pitching it to the California government? I'm sure Gavin Newsom would buy 1 million of these damn carts at, I'm sure they'd cost $5,000 a piece. I think there's a real business there.
You know what? There probably is. And not only do they get the cart, you got it fully loaded for them, right? You can get, some clothes in it, some different, food items. Like, hey, look, we got this package cart ready to go. We got, 10,000 of them. We got, and of
Fucking
course, like you
tent,
said,
sleeping bag, a little
there we
blow-up
go.
air mattress, a little solar panel with a little charging battery. Dude, I'm all over this.
We might be onto something, JC. We might be onto something. California likes to spend money on homeless, so we might be onto something where we can make a little extra money here.
Dude, I think it's like a $10 million business. I mean, I think, but at the same time, if the economy keeps going the way it goes, like you're going to have more homeless people. So we might be, we might, I'm serious about this venture. Like this is I don't know why this idea just popped in my head, but if you get the California government on board, they're going to spend money on this crap.
Yeah, I mean, maybe and if as long as you have some sort of, like you said, solar power, make it energy efficient somehow. Hey, look, they don't have to go plug into these. We have a solar power charging for their phones that you're giving them, like right here. This is, as long as we can find, solar power and electricity and all that stuff put into it, it's good for California.
Dude, what do we just like go buy a bunch of like what are those little kid wagons, those red wagons?
I think it'll have to be something like that, right? With some kind of off-road wheels, like because sometimes they're going in dirt, whatever. So hey, like these have all-terrain tires on them, maybe a little motor on it, so that if they kind of get stuck, they can have some help with their all-wheel drive. I don't know. Just we can go. Who knows where we can go with this?
Little hitch for the bike. It's towable. Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
You covered the off-road aspect of things. Dude,
man, this
I podcast is going in a weird way.
Just for shits and giggles, I always need to start a website. Like just build it all out. You got the whole name, pictures, renderings of everything. Like just go as far as we can with this thing. And like people are, oh God, this is interesting. Like how do we buy one of these? Like
I don't even know if you would have to get like the California involved, but I think you could just run. First of all, you got to build one out. Okay. You dress me up like a homeless person. Okay. I go get some tank tops at Target and, grow out my beard, look like a tweaker. Okay. I get the 4-wheel drive wagon. Okay. We'll outfit it with some accessories. Okay. I'll put all the camping shit I have right now in it. And then we just run a couple Facebook ads and be like, if you want to help the homeless, this is what you do. It costs you $1,000. Okay. And we deliver, homeless wagons. What wagons for the homeless? I don't know. I'm thinking of domain names right now. And just test it. See if anyone buys it. Fuck, right?
I think the name's already mobile homes. Come on.
Mobile home. I think that domain's taken.
I'm pretty sure it is, but
because I grew up in a mobile home park, but that's I think you think I'm kidding, but I think I think I might I think we're gonna do this business. I think this is absolutely pure gold.
If we don't, there is someone out here that should take this idea. This is what we're all about, the Action Takers podcast, providing value. We just had a business idea. We pretty much just told you everything you need to do for it. How much more value can you get? Business ideas for people to start. I mean, what else? What more can we provide?
Nate, this might not make the podcast, to be honest with you. I might cut this section out. It's such a good idea. You know what?
It's going to be...
I won't cut it out. We're just looking for venture-backed capital, okay? We're in search for $1 million. Half of it's going to go to Nate and I for leisure to think of more great ideas.
Research and development. We got to do research and development. We got to take it to the different parks, national state parks, different places around the country to test it out. Make sure it can be, worked through different areas. So different products we're going to buy to test out different foods, so all this stuff. So
I'm eager. So yes, this is the most important part of the podcast. It's all we ask is if you've enjoyed this video and audio experience, if you're listening to this on audio, you need to go over to YouTube and subscribe to the Action Takers YouTube channel, because this is This is new and improved Action Takers Podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, because we're going to give you just endless amounts of ways to make money, improve yourself via social media, personal development. Nate's going to teach you how to wear those tank tops really good. I'm going to try and get rid of my chin right here with some dieting. It's all great value.
Yeah, and just if you want to laugh or put your smile on your face just for laughing at us, what we're doing, making fun of us, that's where you get at the minimum, right? I mean, you can just be like, look at these guys just going off on freaking tangents about homeless shopping carts.
That's the way it goes. So till next time,
take some action.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.